Ang cute yung bracelet yung cute.
Nice
Parang
to
gusto
know.
ko favorite yun sa mga pisngi niyo. Hi everyone, it's Adrian Pangilinan, and welcome back to Soul Supremacy, where we talk about all things unapologetic, all things passion, and in pursuit of. And we made it to another episode in the podcast in the show over here with my very, very lovely and excited guest, Alan Segui, all the way from Mandaluyong City, which is where I was born, which is where I'm from. And our kapatid over here is, hey, let me pull up his bio because I'm never afraid to say that I read off people's bios. So our kapatid over here is a photographer, a content creator of Alan Segui Studios, managing and creative director for Weekend Wanda is for the weekend wear for the Wandering Woman. Locally made and crafted with love. Yes. Y'all can't tell, but my heart is palpitating just a little bit because the guest that we have over here, to this side over here, this person is actually someone that was a part of my when I was building up my channel. I remember I saw his YouTube channel, and that really gave me the motivation and then the inspiration to embrace being a freelancer, because that was the first video that I saw from him was about being a freelancer. And actually, I just left my job, my second to my last day job that I would have ever had. And so seeing this person's video, seeing someone who's Filipino, someone that I could really understand the nuances and everything, I'm super grateful for him. And not only that, he is really fabulous. He is an amazing content creator, photographer, and also the designer of Weekend Wanda from the Philippines. Without further ado, Alan Segui, everyone. Woo! Insert applause sound effect.
Hi everyone, how's it going? How are you guys? Thank you so much, Adrian, for having me here.
Yes, of course. How are you, kapatid?
I'm alright. Ayan, it's currently 12:20 in the morning. It's really, really late.
I
But
know.
I made sure to make time because I know that you've been there to support me ever since. So it's my way of supporting you today.
Thank you for making time. And actually, before we get started, I just wanted to ask, are you guys still like at this point of recording, kapatid? Are you guys still on lockdown? In lockdown?
Right now, they actually put additional numbers to the levels of lockdown. So right now we're not so much in lockdown, but we kind of are. It's a bit of like it's a whole thing. But basically, we can go out, we can do the normal stuff, we can dine in, but there are restrictions.
Ay, sorry to hear
Yeah.
that. Sorry. Sending so much love and blessings your way. Pero dito naman sa San Diego, which is where I'm at, I mean, it's almost the opposite. It's like people act like it never happened, and I'm like, get away from me, kaloka kate. What happened to 6 feet apart? Diba?
That's so funny.
Yes, that was a mixture of like being a claustrophobic. So let's just say na I'm definitely using my pagka-introvert to prevent that
Yes, at
away
this
from me.
point, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so kapatid, without further ado, let's get started. That like go without further ado. I only have like a couple of like segues in my brain to use, pero
Okay.
okay, so we're gonna get started with the icebreaker questions. So my
Mhm.
first question for you is, what are three things about you na? So when people meet you for the first time, what are some of the three things that they wouldn't normally know kapag when they meet you for the first time?
Okay, that's a really good question. I thought you were gonna ask me kung ano yung first impressions nila sa akin.
Oh, you can
So,
say that too.
okay. So maybe I'll just start with that first and medyo kasi contradicting yung stuff because ang first impression sa akin, people usually tend to think that number one, I'm a bitch. Number two, I'm intimidating. And number three, like I'm just a snob or something. But when they really get to know me, they get to realize that I'm the opposite of those things. I'm actually a really, really warm person. So I don't know if it's the way I come across in person or I just don't know if I have that vibe.
Can I?
But
It's
I don't
yes. Actually, the past couple of episodes that I've recorded, yung like some of the guests didn't know how to answer it. So binato sa akin, so they asked me what I thought of them because at some point,
know.
diba,
Okay.
we met for the first time. Even though we haven't met, we've crossed paths online, and this is our first time actually having a conversation. So thank you again.
I know.
I know. 3 years later. Oh, 3 years
Yeah,
later,
it's
tagal
been
na.
a long time.
Yes. So to answer your
Ikaw, ano?
question, yeah. So to answer your question about yung parang assumptions, diba naging assumptions video na to. Um, I would say I think partly because it's really the way your confidence is the way you carry yourself. Na parang it's you're so sure of yourself. Na
Yeah.
parang it's almost like those that feel like other people that may not be there yet in terms of their self-love and confidence. I admit I think it can feel intimidating to be next to someone na parang ay pak, 'di ba? Like 'di ba it's almost like a silver looking at a diamond. Wow, diamond star. I,
She said she will listen
I
time.
alam mo na, 'di ba? I mean there's a contrast, 'di
Grabe.
ba?
Yeah.
There is that polarity na parang but but I
Mm.
think too from what I've heard from a lot of people na parang they've said the same thing too na once they get to know you na parang ay ano pala talagang we have more in common than we probably don't think we do, 'di ba? So,
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
yeah. Actually, I have well, I'll just ask now anyways. So speaking of confidence, where do you feel like you get your where do you get your confidence from? Where saan ka humuhugot? Where do you get it from? Or who?
Okay. Maybe just I've learned at a really young age to fake it till you make it. Maybe like alam mo, you know the saying, dress for the job you want, not for the job you have. So it
Oh,
goes the same.
yes.
It goes the same for me when it comes to my mindset. Like umaasta ako that I'm someone who's really confident, even if I'm not quite there yet, and it just registers as that. So you just have to have conviction. Pero I do feel like I am really confident in a sense na that's not too happy in a way, but I
That's
think I'm
not.
confident in a sense that I'm really comfortable with myself and I don't really actually give like two f's about whatever people think about
Yes.
me because I'm really sure about
Yes.
how I am as a person. I feel like
Yes.
that's where it comes from.
Yes. I'm so happy that you pointed that out because I feel like in my journey, well, naging in my journey, I'm
Yes.
really realizing, and I'm sure too with you,
Mhm.
that you can understand at some point you just have to stop caring about what people think of you.
Yeah,
Diba? Like,
absolutely.
and it all goes back to like, I think it's a part of our culture specifically.
Mhm.
Maybe for me, parang iba lang yung timpla kasi nandito ako sa San Diego in
Mhm.
America. Na parang, I didn't realize how much we as Filipinos are ingrained to people please. Diba? To
Yes.
parang
Exactly.
okay lang, parang uy, okay lang, put things under the rug. Now by default we end up subconsciously watering ourselves down, our light, our confidence, diba? And that I guess my point in that is ano ba tawag doon? So going back to confidence na shoot, hold on. Wait, I had it in my head, hold on. Confident. Caring about what people think. Caring about what people
Mhm.
think.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, but at the same time, the way I see it is, it's not our responsibility. I mean, yeah,
Mm.
it can hurt, but they're just words, diba? It's like, okay, well, if that's what you think of me, but then, there's nothing you can do about it because you didn't do anything to them,
I know. As
diba?
long as your intentions are pure, it's up to them how they're
Yes,
gonna take it,
yes,
whatever
there
you
you
serve.
go.
Yeah,
Yes,
and I think you made a really good point about being Filipino and how we were brought up. Because I feel like looking back at it, I think we were trained at a very young age to sort of conform to what a
yes.
good Catholic Filipino person should and shouldn't be. So
Mhm.
I think that really gets in the way of discovering who you really are as a person, and thus, yeah, watering down whatever like your self-expression. So, I really makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and I thank you. Okay. So no, my next question for you is it's actually the original question. So the first question. So what are three things about you na for the newcomers, the new fans,
Yeah.
new friends? What are some of the three things that they wouldn't normally know about you kapag when they meet you for the first time? Nakilala ka.
Okay. Sige. Um, Number one, I'm busier than I actually am. Like, we have a whole social media thing, and I share my daily things on social media. But that's really only a percentage of that, because the rest of the time I'm actually just doing the work. So I only spend very little time uploading stories and stuff like that. So I'm very much focused on work, except for the times that I'm procrastinating. And a number two, maybe um, I do come across a little bit cold sometimes, and I understand that because maybe that's just my guards. But one thing that people discover later on from me, something that they don't know right off the bat, is that I'm actually, I don't know, really warm and really like I'm a girl's girl. I'm someone who's always there whenever you need me. I'm someone who always offers help, so I'm that kind of friend. And another thing is I never flake. I never flake on friends. I never flake on family, even if it's such a huge inconvenience for me. I'm really gonna go to like whatever we plan during that day. I'm gonna be there no matter what. So I don't really cancel last minute. So this is
Uh,
three random things.
yes, and we love it, and I know that that's probably not probably, but I know that's a reason why talagang you found success in what you're doing now because going back to that video that I referred to, it's
Yeah,
been a while since I've seen it, but I just remember watching or I found on YouTube it. I guess it was recommended because I was also going
yeah.
through the same thing, and
Mhm.
the details are kind of blurred. I really don't remember much about the video anymore, except for the fact that you like just left your job and you
I
like
just decided to
you
quit.
you just decide to leave it, which is what I did, and just kind of seeing the person then to the person now that I'm, very humbled and grateful to speak to.
Uh,
Talagang, wow. Gonna, yeah.
such a
So
huge shift.
I'm proud. I'm proud over here. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah. Okay. So speaking of that, we're actually gonna go to a different random question. So, what is your current comfort food to go? I mean, not to go, but
Comfort food.
to go to comfort food, not in comfort food for takeout.
Food too.
What is
Yeah.
your go to comfort food?
Um, I love a good French fry. You can never really go wrong. So
Okay.
that to me is comfort food.
Potato corner. Potato corner.
Potato
We have
corner,
we,
macbook,
we have
Jollibee,
one
whatever.
here.
Is it
There's there's
really? You
one
have
here,
potato corner?
yeah, at the
There's
mall near
just
me.
one.
Just one though, but everyone like
Oh,
everyone loves it. The Americans love it
uh,
because they're like, what is this French fries place that like puts different flavors?
flavors on the fries.
Yeah.
So watch and learn, Americans.
Yes, right, exactly. Take notes.
Take note from the Filipinos.
Did you say just French fries or potatoes? French fries, right?
Potatoes in general. I love a good potato. Do anything with a potato, and I'm down.
Yeah. That's actually, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that healthier than rice? Or are they the same?
I'm not really sure.
Pang-
I don't know. I'm not
Do you
very
think
health conscious.
the reason why I say that is because your body looks good.
I think
Yeah.
I don't even work out anymore, but I think it's just balancing everything.
Just balancing of eating healthy or just
Yeah,
just
maybe
balance.
just balance in general.
Mm.
Only eat when you're not hungry. Sometimes indulge. That's okay.
Yeah, it's actually good that you pointed that out because I think a lot of times people have these expectations that you have to go super hard, whether it's into fitness or being a content
Mhm.
creator or whatever your
Mhm.
passion is, that you always have to like grind until you're
Yeah,
like, "Oh, I can't do it anymore."
it's okay to take it easy.
Yes, like balance. It's really important actually. Like
Mhm.
don't shame yourself for needing to take a break because see, diba kapag once you've rested, then you can
Mhm.
go back and continue to do great work.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's really true. I actually did a piece about that. In case our listeners and viewers aren't familiar, right now I'm a photographer and a social media person. But before I actually graduated journalism, so I did a lot of writing back then, and currently I'm still trying to pursue that in very little ways. So I did a piece about how taking breaks actually make you more productive. So maybe you guys could check that out on my social media.
Yes,
So
I know.
just
We're
little
gonna we're gonna
tidbits.
drop the link. That link, go drop the link down below.
Yeah.
We're gonna have it. We're gonna have it for reference. Yes. Okay, so my last question for the icebreaker question is: so if our kapatid over here, Alan Segui from Philippines, actually before where are you in the Philippines?
In Mandaluyong City, in Metro Manila.
You're in Mandaluyong City. That's
Yes,
where I
sir.
am. That's where I was born. Like that's where I'm from.
Oh,
Ay,
no, that's great.
kaya
Yeah.
pala parang
I
may
love it here.
parang dugo. Charot.
Kasi tumandalayan na rin tayo.
Yes, parang pagka hi fellow Mandaluyong.
Oo.
Yes. Okay, so our kapatid over here, Alan Segui from Mandaluyong City, Philippines, which is where I grew up.
Yes.
I love it there. So if Alan Segui were to have his own TikTok dance challenge,
Oh,
what
no.
will what will the first move look like? How would you start it? Just give us one move. Do it
Well,
again.
it's
Do it
gonna be a
again.
transition.
Yes.
Feeling
How
ko,
how do you describe that? How would you describe that move for people that are
maybe
tuning in the other podcast that
uh,
they can't see it?
I might call it the shuffle transition. That's,
Ah, I
yeah.
love it.
Tapos
Na,
mag-iibang anyo ka.
yes, nakala ko, I thought when you started, I thought it was gonna be something. I was thinking parang, parang may pumutok. Charot. How how old are you?
Yes.
I, I I feel like I know, but it's been a minute. I know you were 20, like 25?
Yeah, 25.
25? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna slide
He
that.
keeps
Okay.
track.
Yes, no, no. The reason why I say that is because like I'm a fan. I'm a true fan because I've been following our kapatid's journey since at least since that point of 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I
2018 has been a while. How long
it's been
was
a
it?
while, and
7 years,
yes,
right? No,
uh, what? 3 years. Wait,
sorry. I did 25 minus 18. That's how I got 7.
no, no, no.
Like 3 or 4 years. Mga ganyan.
Yes, no, no. Like I was like, you can say that too. Shut up. Sorry, that threw me off. I had like my thing in my head. And I was like, it's not it's straight. I'm just kidding. Oh, okay, now I remember now. So the reason why I point that out is because since at least that point of time, I've kind of seen your journey and you've like grown so much. That's where all the questions are inspired from. So I have a lot of
That's
questions. Yes.
okay. I'm
Okay,
ready.
so on that note, our friends, viewers, kapatids, we are gonna get into the main interview, and that was actually the best segue I've had because in my show, my segues are always awkward, abrupt, no cohesiveness, but we did it today. So my very first question for you, kapatid, is who is Alan?
Ah, wait. There are a lot of ways to answer that question, but how would you want me to answer that? Like on a
And
personal note or just
um,
whatever?
I I say answer the way that you want to answer, but if you're
Okay.
really asking me, I say speak from the heart, come from the heart.
Okay. Alan. Alan. Who is he? Hmm.
This is your episode, kapatid. This is
He's
your exclusive. Oh, exclusive. There you go.
exclusive scoop. I would say that he is this passionate creative um, who has a story to tell and a message to spread. So, lakas mga passion ko. Pero I honestly believe that, yeah, I think that is me. I'm a creative first and foremost. That's been my life. And how I said that I have a message to spread is just to spread love, to spread positivity on the internet, which is my main medium right now. So yeah, I guess that's the kind of person I am in 2021.
Yes, I love it. Naging 20. Yes. You know,
Baka
so
kasi iba naman sa 2022, di ba?
no, no, yeah, no, I mean, no, that is a good point. We're like, parang creatures, Pokemons.
Yeah,
We're
that
ever
evolved.
changing, we're ever changing. We evolve year by year. And so I've actually never done this. Maybe I have, but I just don't. From the top of my head, I can't remember. But I usually never interject what I think of a person when they describe themselves. But I think for this case, I think I've also seen you as someone that's very resilient, that's very
Mhm.
strong, someone who is resilient, strong, fierce. There you go. Those are the three things that I
Mhm.
feel like I want to also say to you as someone that's like, from the outside.
Uh, Thank you. And that really means so much. Especially hearing it from someone who's not me, it's always different. So I think that's a very good point, or something to think about, like how you perceive yourself and how other people perceive you is totally different.
Yes, it is. It's funny because
Yeah.
you could think, what if it's the other way around? You could you could actually. It probably sounds
Mhm.
like I'm just kidding. What if someone actually thinks that you're like, oh, parang ganon. Tapos people perceive them as like parang turtle na parang, di ba?
Uh,
Because in reality, talagang, you know,
mm,
it is funny. Like perceptions are
yeah,
important,
perception.
but it's funny. I was having this conversation with my friend that perceptions are important, but it's not always reality too. You know.
Mm, it
Yeah.
depends on who's looking at it, actually.
Yeah, people will treat you on how they perceive you as part of their reality. So I think it's
Yes.
important to. I mean, of course, like parang when that happens, to be able to look inside and be like, why is it like that, and also recognize to that on the other side of that is also their parang their lens, which is
Mhm.
what I wanted to wear, but the lighting is not gonna.
Ah, ako din sana I was gonna wear it because I was afraid of the glare.
Like, oh, actually, this is random, but my comfort food. I should have said that earlier. My to go
Oh,
comfort
yeah.
food is like gourmet tuyo.
Oh my god, that's such a Pinoy comfort food. I mean, you can never go
It-
wrong with gourmet tuyo.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're gonna see. I can't be segue out of that. Okay, so my next question for you is I know that I've like said it over and over again, but if you can
Mhm.
answer this from your perspective, it would mean a lot. From your perspective, how did we cross paths? What did it look like? Did I come off creepy? No, I'm just gonna go ahead. You can answer it.
No, you were fine. You were sweet. How did that come about? I was doing
What
YouTube.
do you remember? If anything, it doesn't.
Yeah, no, I'm really trying my hardest because I do remember you from the very beginning. I started social media with not a lot of followers, as everyone does.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do appreciate all the people who are there from the very beginning. And you're definitely one of them. That's why medyo maano ko sa'yo eh. Medyo magaan ako sa'yo. So, because I know you've been through this whole journey, whatever, with me. So, how did I? I was making videos and you were always commenting and you were always tagging and sharing my videos. That's the one thing that I remember very clearly. Because I always repost them and I always say thanks. I never miss an opportunity to thank those people. And Adrian was one of those. So I'm really appreciative of that. And it never came across creepy, didn't do anything crazy, or, our friendship was kind of a little bit more on the encouraging side. We were just like, he was always the one who, like, I miss your videos, make more, and then get to the next one. And I don't remember this very clearly, but maybe at some point I was like, you were asking me, you were telling me about starting your own channel, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain, and it's a great, like, outlet. So that's everything that I can remember.
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, but okay lang because I mean I kind of put you on the spot too. It's like I actually don't really expect because it's been. I mean, of course, you're so busy, and it's like I'm just one of the many, But also, so I
uh-huh.
just want to comment on what he said about encouraging, because like as he can, like as Alan can relate to over here or resonate with at least, it's like being a YouTuber or that term. I actually don't even I I don't even say I'm a YouTuber because it feels, you know what I mean. It comes with its own
Yeah,
connotation about like I just say I'm a content creator on
on
YouTube because
YouTube. Yeah, I make
on YouTube
videos on YouTube.
instead of YouTuber because it feels. I mean, I admit I think in the beginning I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber until I started to realize I'm like, what is like what is the voice? Like, what message am I really trying to put out there? What am I trying to do with my platform? Diba? So yeah, so I just want to say thank you for that. Um, okay, so This so at this point of the interview, we're gonna take a huge plunge. We're gonna take a huge dive into into your childhood, into your childhood, because I'm
Yes.
curious. Because I've always believed that the person that we become are now is obviously heavily influenced by the way we grew up.
Mhm.
So on that note, I want to ask you, how would you describe Alan as a kid growing up? What was your childhood like?
My childhood was very colorful. I lived in the province. I played with dirt. I played in the farm. I played in the field. I had a lot of friends. And my family was, they were fun. They were down for it. I was never really kept within the four corners of our home. I was a kid who grew up on the streets playing. So that was my childhood. Pero back then, um, I hadn't I hadn't come out yet, so there was still that kind of restriction. My childhood, I was crazy. And then when I became an adolescent, that's when the body starts to change, the mind starts to form. You get to be a little bit more aware, a little bit more self-conscious. So I was very conscious as a teenager, and then headed towards where I am now. I kind of just shed off that skin of being conscious. So leading up to like I don't care anymore. Pero ayun, that's the kind of kid I was. It was a very colorful childhood, and I think the creativity actually sparked from there. I had a lot of instances where, tayong mga bagets of the 90s, we grew up watching Art Attack, Art Angel, yung mga ganyan, turning trash into art. So I think, yeah, a lot of that has to do with, a lot of my art now, or like art digital siya,
Mhm.
has some sort of connection to that, making something out of nothing
Mhm.
and making it look good, making it work. So, yeah, I think yun lang.
Ayun na.
Ayun siya. Ikaw,
Yeah.
kamusta naman yung childhood mo?
No one's ever asked me that question.
Siyempre, babalik ko rin sa'yo.
Di, okay lang. No, I'm just kidding. Um, well, I'll give you the Cliff Notes version because it's your episode. Pero, I think now looking back at it, as a 29, wow, 29 to 30 na ako next year. 29-year-old. Kasi ano eh, like like at least there's two parts of it, I'll say, because I moved here when I was 9, and then I've been here since then. But the part about the Philippines for me is always going to be special for me. It is very colorful, a lot of like humble beginnings, a lot of playing around. Like we actually lived in a house, but we also lived in a so some other. I lived in M Cruz Street. M Cruz. Do you know where that is? No.
I'm Cruz not familiar. Malapit din sa P. Cruz.
Yeah, I don't. Malapit sa mental hospital. Is that still there? No.
Yeah, I think it's still there, but di ko siya nadadaan.
Next time lumabas ka, mag-field trip kayo sa M Cruz. Punta kayo sa lumang bahay namin.
Hanapin ko din yung bahay. Yung bahay ni
Ayun yung bahay ni Baklush sa online. Yeah, no, I mean, it was really colorful and like I received so much love from my mom's side. So, and then moving here where it was like, it became the opposite, like a lot of the, I mean, not to say there wasn't love, but it was just like the dynamics were opposite. Like, like a lot of the OFW stories, like people who get homesick because it's really cold. It's really like people feel lonely. It's, it's that, but thankfully, just like you, I turned my art into my inspiration. So that's why we're here talking because,
Yeah.
as a young kid, I'm like, you know what? I want to create stuff.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for
I
asking.
actually have one more, of course.
Ano?
I have one more addition. The people who follow me online right now, they call me mother because I have this very like motherly intuition. Nakikita naman nila how caring I am towards my friends,
Nurturing.
people.
Yes, mother bear.
Nurturing. Yeah, very that. That's actually the vibe. I'm always supportive and stuff like that. Very motherly talaga. Um, Tsaka, even pagdating sa mga the things that I show on social media, like decorating the home, doing the
Yeah.
cooking, doing the errands, chores, stuff like that. Very lahat nakaka-mother talaga. And I think a lot of that has to do with my childhood as well. I don't, not a lot of people know this, but in elementary school, I went to a Catholic school, a private Catholic school, and they
Oh,
always
okay.
gave an award for
Yeah, man.
homemaker of the year.
Yeah, man kasi.
Homemaker of the year. they
Really?
always, and they always gave it. They always gave it to the best in yung PLE or HELE, yung Home Economics and Livelihood Education na subject. They
Mhm.
always gave it to a woman, but during my graduation, they gave it to me. So that's like, parang, this is
Foreshadowing
my,
of the foreshadowings na
this is my
blows of
destiny.
mo, in-acknowledge na.
Oo. Kaya hindi ako nagtataka kung bakit yun yung tawag sa akin ng mga followers ko.
Well, not no, not actually. I wouldn't say just because of that, but also like, how you described yourself as someone that is I, not sure if you can hear the barking, but someone who's nurturing, someone who is reliable, someone who's always there. That's I feel like that is really what this like. I feel like is someone who is maternal, motherly, mater. You, someone who's always there.
Very that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Actually, since you talked about school, that's actually a perfect segue. Segui. That's a perfect segue. I'm just kidding. That's a perfect segue to my next question. So, what did you go to college for again? You
AB
said you
journalism. I
what is
took
it?
up AB journalism.
What does the AB mean?
Um, AB.
Is it just called? I mean, is it just called AB, or I mean, I've heard it before too. Andres
Yeah, I don't really
Bonifacio.
know what it
Is
is.
it
No,
Andres
it's not.
I don't know.
Arts bachelor, I guess. I think that's what it
Ah,
is. Because
okay.
there are the AB subjects and the BS subjects,
Oh,
or
got it.
BA. Yeah,
Yes.
BS
Oh, yes.
is
That
Bachelor's
makes
of
sense.
Science, then Bachelor
Yes.
of Arts.
Arts,
Yeah.
arts of bachelor. I think that's what it is.
Mm.
Yeah, kasi sa akin, BFA, Bachelor's of Fine Arts in dance.
Mm.
So
Okay.
in journalism,
Journalism.
um,
Diba?
yeah,
I know,
yeah,
right?
no. Well, yes, but also I wanted to ask. So, what made you go with that degree, and then nung pagkatapos, then what made you actually realize that it was content creation that you wanted to do? So, parang I guess it's a two-parter question.
Yeah. Actually, I've known that I've always wanted to be a photographer or in visual media, digital and visual, not so much in the writing,
In the print.
literature. I'm never that kind of guy. So when I was in high school, I was the photojournalist of our school publication. So medyo napalapit ako sa journalism back then because I was in the publication. At some point, I actually became associate editor in chief. So it was something I was good at, but not really something that I was really passionate about.
Yeah.
So I was in Bicol that time, and then there was I didn't know that there was I was actually looking for multimedia arts, but the course wasn't available. I'd have to move to Manila and able to pursue that. But I didn't. So I just stayed there and stuck it out. And I was thinking of a course that would have anything similar, relatively similar to what I actually wanted to do. So, naisip ko, I was filling up the application. It's like, journalism, di ba may photojournalism naman dito? So I guess that's close enough. Not knowing that when I enrolled first day of classes, they did the whole orientation thing and they explained the subjects. There was a subject called um, AVC, ABAVC, BAAVC, which means audiovisual communication. Yun pala yung like equivalent ng multimedia arts dun sa school na yun in Bicol University. That was the first time I'm finding out about this and my mind was like, but at the same time, I didn't want to shift because I've already known and stuff like that. And, when I do something, I just stick it out. So I just graduated. But on the side, I was still pursuing my photography. In college, I actually started my own production. So doon ako nag-start sa commercial side of things. I started in second year high school. Maybe I was 17 years old. I started my own production wherein we did um, wedding coverages.
Oh,
We did yung mga debut. Uso kasi sa probinsya yung mga 18th birthday.
oh yes.
We did weddings and all of the stuff, all of the events. So, I think dun ko siya nasimulan talaga technically yung commercial side.
Mhm.
And when I moved to Manila, I had, parang I already had work to show. So, parang if I applied to like this brand or company, at least meron ako pakita na, uy, this is the photography I did in college, kahit hindi yun yung graduate ko because that was the
Yes.
path that I wanted to do. Yeah, haba, no?
No, hindi. No, actually, I actually always prefer kapag detailed, talagang very conversational yung approach ng pag-explain ng because kasi nga I mean, for me, I got my degree in dance, and then and then actually that was shortly when we met was shortly after I graduated. So parang I literally had a change of heart when I was doing my capstone nung gumawa ko ng final dance piece ko, which literally became my final dance piece because I did it for
Oh,
10 years and sabi ko, like, I was scared. I was scared to admit na parang maybe I'm ready for something new. So then, yung video editing sa akin has always been like a thing that I've always done. I've actually really wanted to get into filmmaking, be a
mhm,
director. Like that's actually what I've always wanted. So
mhm.
I felt like YouTube was the best next thing for me. So you said that it just felt organic for you to just parang segue into that part of your career now after graduating, right?
Yeah, actually, yeah. But when I moved here, my first job was a writer.
Mhm.
Kasi wala eh. That was the thing that I knew people were gonna hire me for. So
Mm.
I took a job as a writer. While I was there, I already had friends in Manila who were working with brands because I'm really into fashion. So
Yes.
they're already working with local brands, and then they know that I do the photography thing. They know I do the social media thing
Hmm.
as a hobby, but not as I don't have a degree for it. Pero they know that I'm good at it. So they were the ones who actually were rooting for me or like making ways for me to infiltrate the system, be part of the
Hmm.
whole marketing
Hmm.
thing. So that's how I came across. So that's how I entered like whatever I'm doing right now because of friends who believed in me. So
Yes.
yeah.
Is that so? So going back to the video that video that we keep talking about, the one where you talked about you just left your job. Did it
Yeah.
happen like from where you were at before you moved to Manila, or were you already in Manila when that happened?
I was in Manila when that happened. That was actually my second job.
Yes.
So I had
Can
quit. Yeah.
yes. Please talk about. I want you to talk about it actually
Okay.
because that's important. This is an important. I feel like a very important part of your journey. So
Okay. So I did that video, which surprisingly a lot of people have been coming up to me because
yeah.
they've seen that video just now.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
it's not a very popular video. It was my first video on YouTube, I think.
Mm.
Or tapos, people are coming up to me now na parang, OMG, I had no idea na this was you. Because it's such a huge contrast to who I am now. Pero during that time, that was actually my second job. So I left my job as a writer and I did my first job I was actually a content and community manager. So yan
Oh.
yung description ko, which was very vague. So basically, yung this brand just gave me all of the responsibilities. But there is silver lining to that. I did the job for only 5 months, I
Mhm.
think, but it felt like 2 years. It was a
Oh,
lot of work.
oh, no.
Pero that's okay because that's actually where I learned na how to do everything. That's where I shot my first studio photos. That's where I first talked to influencers. That's when I first like did most of the stuff or like became
Yes.
part of the back end of a website. So even if it was very stressful, there is a silver lining to it.
Yes.
Na I learned a lot, and I learned a lot not only on the technical side, but I've learned a lot of things about myself. Like, parang, oh my gosh, I was able to endure all of this for 5 months. All of the jobs after that were just easy peasy. Parang,
Mhm.
easy lang yan compared to, because I have something to compare it to.
Mhm.
So, yun, I was really stressed and I was just, I filmed that video the, di ko alam, the next day nung nag-resign na ako.
Oh wow.
So I did the video kasi I had nothing going for me. It was my first time freelancing.
What was
Or
that
at
moment?
least trying to.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry. What was that moment nung parang nag-decide ka na mag-resign? What was that moment na parang what made you
What
do it? Na
made?
parang
Mm.
yung moment na
Um,
yon.
yeah. You know, di naman maiwasan like when you're in organizations or in companies to have friction with people
Oh yes.
in the
Oh.
insides. And
Uh-huh.
it just so happened that I really did not like how my boss was treating me, basically. I was under the, we didn't really have a very big organizational chart. Organizational chart. So, like,
Mhm.
the owner of the brand is here, then all of us. So, it was directly, we were directly led by him. So, I didn't like how loaded or I didn't like how much work they had to do there.
Yeah.
So I was just stressed out, and I don't really want to talk negatively about people, but that's definitely the thing that pushed me
Yes. Yeah.
to just go for it. I mean, anything to the point where I thought that anything is better than this. So it's like
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a I'm a quit. This ain't worth it. My hair is falling off.
Ah.
So I'm gonna do something else. It was that bad. So it just so happened now when I resigned, I got my first freelance gig, and then from there I was just like,
Ayun na.
yeah,
Ayun na.
that was the start. That was the start.
Management. It's really I can relate. I think the reason why I really resonated with your video was I think that story that it's the management. That's I mean I know I could do better. I think
Mhm.
but when it's the management na parang they make it so hard for you to do
Yeah,
your job and to actually I know but it's like why aren't we all
yeah,
trying to like serve one purpose of like doing our jobs there and helping the company
Mhm.
grow, you know?
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's okay because then I feel like both of us at that point because I feel it literally happened to us at the same time, like more or
Mhm.
less, actually. Oh wait, no, just kidding. Mine happened a couple months later. Mine
Yeah.
happened in
It's
August. I was like, bye. you know?
go by. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so I actually just have a couple more questions.
Mhm.
Thank you again for being honest and being very
Of course.
detailed. So, okay, so the last couple of topics I want to talk to you about is your journey on YouTube and also to what you're doing now. What you're doing
Okay.
now. Okay, so
So
YouTube, what happened with YouTube? Diretso na ako sa YouTube. Like,
what
please
happened?
share.
What happened with her? I was there was a lot of things that happened between that time that I did that video and right now.
Yes, yeah.
Some of which I have my own brand now that I'm managing.
Yes.
I'm currently working multiple jobs. And then aside from that, I have my clients for freelance who I do photography for. And some I do like part-time brand managing them. So ayun, YouTube was put at the backseat for that
Mhm.
reason.
Yeah.
I know I'm trying to prioritize where I make the most money.
No, oh, no,
Not
yes.
really. I mean,
Yes,
I
para
mean,
para may
you
para
get the
may
point, right?
makain ka. May
Diba,
makain ka.
right?
I know me too. Oh gosh. I have to go to
So
work after
most,
this actually.
diba? So
Mhm.
whichever makes the most money, that's where I'm gonna focus my time on because that's
Yes.
what's feeding me. That's what's putting money, food on the table.
Yes. Sa
Obviously,
chan.
as right, as a freelancer, you're never gonna really know what's gonna happen tomorrow or in the next month. or in the couple of months. So whenever there are projects right now, that's just where your focus is at to like do all of that. So YouTube was kind of put in the backseat, but now that I'm trying to
Make a
loosen up my
comeback. We
schedule a
love
bit,
it.
yeah, right. Yeah, we're trying. We're trying that out.
Yeah.
Trying to test the waters if
and, and
I
and that's all
can
that
find.
matters. Yes,
Yeah.
to see where you're at.
So ayun. And also I could honestly, if I wanted to, I could have just done like the usual vlogs where I just do this and that for the entire day. But I'm not that kind of content creator. I like to put thought on the videos that
Yeah.
I make. I
Mhm.
actually prefer sit down videos with topics aside or concepts aside from just like taking you about on a day, which I did on my last vlog because I tried it out.
Yes. Ah, so good.
Pero ayun. So yeah, ganun lang siya. Pero hopefully, if I find more time, obviously I'm gonna wanna come back on YouTube.
I have an idea for you, and did I excuse me that came out? Sorry, I have an idea for you, and I'm sure that you've already thought about it. Because for me, the reason why I started my podcast was because 2 years talagang naglast ako ng 2 years na parang okay, but I was getting to the point na parang is this sustainable? you know, and
Yeah.
and is it sustainable? And for me, I was not earning any money from this, which I think initially everyone that jumps onto YouTube is like, I'm gonna earn money from this, but y'all,
Mhm.
let us tell you that's not the case right away. but I
So,
wanted to create content that not only had more depth, but also easy to create and just put out. So, which is this? Have you ever thought
mhm.
about creating a podcast?
Actually, no. I'm a person who, well, I'm a very different person from who I was before. Back then, when I was younger, I may have been a little bit more opinionated than would have liked to be. Right now, I just keep to myself. I just, whenever I get the time to just chill, I take it because life is very hectic right now. But a podcast is definitely not out of the table. I've actually been talking about this with my boyfriend who is right here right now.
Hi, I heard him.
Do you want to say hello? Yeah. We've actually talked about doing a podcast together.
Yes. Hi, glad to meet you. See you
Yeah,
guys in
it's glad
photos.
to
Ang,
meet
ang
you.
cute yung bracelet
Oh,
niya. Ang cute.
nice to
Parang
meet
gusto ko
you.
sukurot yun sa mga pisngi niyo.
So ayun, we've actually discussed the concept of doing a
For
podcast, but
fun.
it's gonna
Just
be
for fun.
but it's gonna be his podcast, and I'm gonna
Ah,
or maybe our podcast together. So maybe.
oh, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it live over here on my podcast exclusive. Action. No.
Right.
Yeah, kasi nga, ano, sustainability, it's like, diba, it's like okay, so let me tell you what I do for my, it's not a day job, but thankfully I don't have to like go back to like working in a brick and mortar, like in a building mismo.
Uh,
So nagdi-deliver ako.
mhm.
So I do Uber Eats here, which
Okay.
that's what it's called here. At talagang yung kita ko, I'm like, oh my goodness, like I get to start I get to start whenever I need to start. I get to yung rates ko, it's actually madaming potential. In other words, I've earned more money doing this, and it
Mhm.
actually crosses off a lot of my flexibility. Yung ganong keme, than like any of the other jobs that I've had, and it actually helps me sustain as a parang filmmaker kasi that's what I'm doing now. Diba?
Mhm.
Which is like what you've talked about with all the rackets, the other jobs that you're doing to help parang keep your no ecosystem going, diba?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So my last question for you is for this main interview is can you please talk to us about how was Weekend Wanda born? Because I know that I mean
Mhm.
in my opinion it did really feel like it was like long time coming because of the aesthetics and all the stuff
Yeah.
that you were doing, and then I still remember seeing that drop for the first time and I was like, ooh, there's something happening here, so yes, go ahead, please talk about it.
Yeah, okay. So here in the Philippines, a lot of the brands are actually very commercial. They present it as it is. Like we make clothes, like buy this. So
Mhm.
I wasn't really looking at a lot of brands that were honest. That's the word that I
Mm.
like to use because um, that's how Wicked Wanda came to be. So I was working with I don't think you guys know this, but while I was freelancing during that filming of the video that we were always talking about during this
I
podcast,
know, like you have more
during
videos.
that time, yeah, after 2 years from filming that, I was freelancing, like I was freelancing all throughout. But then there came a point where I was so bored. I was bored in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I was inside the house alone. Well, when you're freelancing and all of your friends have day jobs, you're almost always alone during the weekdays. So I'm
Yes.
just like sitting on my computer. I didn't have any projects then at this
Yeah.
specific point in time, and I was like so bored. So I tried to apply for jobs. So I did land a job. This food company really
Mm-hmm.
wanted me to work for them. So I was hired like in a week. So it was a good position. It was a good experience, and it was my first time working with food.
Mm-hmm.
But during that time, I was sort of tired. Parang maybe this isn't for me because like I'm in food. But I did stick it out for 8 months. That's the
The
long
food or the day job setting? Which one? Which
the I know the day job. It's actually day job in the food business.
mm-hmm.
So I was working 9 to 5 for this restaurant. I
Mm-hmm.
was in the marketing side of it. So ayan siya. And before I gave up that job, I was thinking of something I could do to like, pag walang racket, edi something that I could focus on. So that's actually how I came up with Weekend Wanda. It was entering summer and I was thinking of something that I could do. Um, where I could create the photos, which was my main thing.
Meaning,
So that's
yeah.
a huge part of it for me. Aside from the selling of the clothes, it's actually the storytelling that's a huge part for me. So I made the brand. This was entering summer, and sabi ko, what would be? Let's do some swimsuits, right? So we called it Weekend Wanda because I do love my weekends. I love to take breaks, and then Wanda, it's because of the word wander. So we make
Oh,
weekend wear for the wandering woman. So it's
yes.
all W's, and it's all about travel, like seeing the world, stuff like that. So while I was doing it, yun actually yung ano sa akin na parang, sige, alis na ako dito because I want to wander, I want to see the world, you know? So I did that, and surprisingly, it was really good. People resonated with it because, as I said before, not a lot of brands, during that time at least, were really honest with like their intentions, why they made the brand. Not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of brands here in the Philippines were transparent. Not a lot of brands were eco-friendly or just environmentally conscious. And Weekend
Mm-hmm.
Wanda was that brand who really thought about those things. Because I said to myself, if I'm gonna make a brand, I'm gonna learn from all of these past jobs whatever the things na ginagawa nila na hindi maganda, I'm not gonna do it for my brand.
Yes. You are no, you are solving. I think that's the thing you're saying now, which is a lot of successful brands, they solve their own they were solving problems by creating their own
Mhm.
stuff. So that's the problem you're solving is the integrity and honesty through transparency.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think that's what it's all about. But that's entirely what the brand stands for, actually. So
Wow.
that message resonated with a lot of people, and until now, the brand is still going, and we're launching our sixth collection. We're,
Wow, congratulations.
thank you. It's coming next month, this October.
Wow.
Already working on it. So your
Have you guys
six
done a
collections in 2 years.
sorry. Have you guys done many like live runways like or
No,
nothing?
it's mostly online, sold
Mostly
online.
online?
Yeah, we
Okay.
don't really do the whole runway stuff. We don't really do the physical store stuff because it contributes a lot of waste and
Oh
it's a
yes, no
lot
it
of,
does, yeah.
yeah. So we just do everything from our little office and ship out everything. So
Yes.
and something we're really proud about is we don't use any plastic in our packaging, as in zero plastic.
Wow.
It's all organic.
Wow.
Yeah, something I'm really proud about.
Yes, as you really should, because I think just kind of like wrapping this up, like everything that you've been through, just kind of like all the different like lanes, doors, lanes, doors. It's like a
Mhm.
maze, but this
Yeah.
it led you to this simple idea, being in a flow state. Na parang, oh, I have nothing to do with my time, but what can I actually do and maybe kind of give that back to the world, then that became in the form of Weekend Wanda.
Yeah. And it actually connects to the first question that you asked. Na who is Alan? So,
Sustainable. Charot.
who is Alan Segui? Like, parang a creative, well, I mean, a creative who has a passion for, like, and then a passion creative who has a message to share.
Mhm.
So, I'm sharing that message through everything I do, including the brand that I make.
Yes.
Full
Yes.
circle moments.
I know. Wow. Whew. My lighting's been horrible here, but it's okay. I'll live. So, kapatid, I have so I'm gonna ask you before the closing question. My final question
Mhm.
for you now is what can we look forward from you? So I know that it seems to be that you've really matured and really taken like you're taking a different route. Is I think what I'm trying to say na parang because you started off as someone that was really wanted to be in front of the camp, at least in terms of a video, and then now you've like
Mhm.
kind of taken that and ran with it in your own brand, but also being the face of Alan Segui Studios. So besides, I mean, I guess even with that, like, what can we look forward from you? Other projects, exciting things that you're excited about. Things that you're excited about. I said that backwards.
Yeah, okay. With, I don't know if this is a coincidence or anything, but you've mentioned the word segue a lot during this interview.
I did. That's what I
And
struggle with.
yeah, never.
Segway.
It's okay. My boyfriend's looking at me right now because we were like developing this idea earlier. For the longest time, I wanted to do a menswear brand because Weekend Moda is all women's wear.
Mm,
So I wanted to do a menswear brand, and we've actually finalized the name earlier today.
wow.
And um, this is the name that we came up.
Yes, yes, bitch.
Yeah, it's not. It's relatively close to my last name and
Oh,
last name Segui. So I wanted to call it Segway. And
oh,
it's a Filipino brand that blurs the line between home and femme. So it's menswear, but the clothes are very feminine kind of feminine.
like androgynous.
Yeah, so that's something to look forward to.
Yes.
And maybe the next Weekend Wonder collection is coming. We're actually shooting it next week.
Wow.
So ayun, some more projects maybe.
That's wow.
Pero ayun, nothing major.
Anong
Pero like
nating
this.
napaka-humble mo naman, te, nothing major, nothing segue, nothing segi. No, no,
Ayun.
no, yeah, no, yeah. Kasi actually before, I just want to point out that I think this episode is gonna come out. I think this is gonna come out in November. Tagal pa. Talagang
Okay.
November pa. So I mean, I think,
Mhm.
is that gonna be like when is it gonna come out? Or because of a launch date yet or no? Oh, wala
Yeah,
pa.
no, I don't have a launch date yet, but we're already
Okay.
sampling the clothes. I actually
Okay.
have some right here if you want to see it. I can go
Oh,
show
first exclusive. No, just kidding.
No, this is just a very simple like thing that came today. It's the first sample, so it's really it's really small. But
Oh, wait, what is it? Hold on. Sh-
it's like a bra top, but it's for men. So
oh my gosh.
I don't see a lot of local brands doing that yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I always like to challenge like or do stuff that isn't being done here. Yeah, just
Yes.
yet. I know it's being done a lot in other countries, but here not so much. So this is what it looks like.
Wow.
So
Oh my
you can put
goodness.
it like over a shirt, or maybe you could just be shirtless. Something you can wear to the beach with some jeans. I don't know if I'm wearing this. So we can just do it
Wow.
like that. Then
Kapat.
it's gonna come in black and like
Nice.
heart colors. Then you can
I,
hide
I
it.
I I feel like that'd be nice as a parang as a neutral. I feel like I see it as a nice like shade of brown, like a
Yeah,
parang yeah,
actually, like the same
yeah.
colors you have right now.
Yeah, pero no, we can't wait until no the time comes that you guys start shipping internationally because I know that people
Yeah,
here, oh my goodness, they that style, I know they would love it. So
yeah.
yes,
Hopefully, we can do shipping internationally.
yes, claim mo na te international one
Yes.
day. There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
So we have made it to the last part of this interview, which is what I call the closing section, with this final question that I will ask you. So
Oh, shoot.
thank you again for being here. Super talagang kakataba sa puso. And that question is, what is the legacy that Alan that you would like to leave behind?
Grabe, parang mamamatay yung ano. Sa legacy ka agad, no? What legacy? That's a very...
Memorial.
Diba? I don't know, maybe I just wanna put a stamp in the world. Yun. One day at a time, I'm trying to do it. Just trying to spread kindness, positivity. If there's something that I want to be remembered for, maybe it's being one of those people, especially like I'm being very specific to where I am right now in the Philippines. Being one of those people who was never afraid to talk about things that may seem taboo or uncomfortable to talk about. During the time that it was uncomfortable to talk about. So I've always been a part of that conversation. So if people were going to remember me, I think that's the thing that I want to be remembered for. I don't know if, I don't want to say he paved the way, but he was one of those people who were...
Paved the way. that's the only thing. Paved the way.
Yeah, parang advocating this before it was cool.
Yes,
So,
part of the revolution.
Yeah.
Huh? Part of revolution.
yes, very that. Parang ganun.
Yay! We made it. Kapatid, where can people find you? So now that we made it to the end of the show, and now I'm sure a lot of people are curious.
Go ahead and follow. Hey.
Drop the plugs. Go.
Okay, go ahead and follow me on my social media. Everything is at Alan Segui, ALANSEGUI. You can go check out my photography work at alansegui.com. My YouTube is youtube.com/alansegui, instagram.com/alansegui. And go ahead and check out my brand, which we talked about earlier, Weekend Wanda, at weekendwanda.com. So, that's all.
Dame. Love it. Yay, thank you so much,
Okay.
Alan, for being a part of the show. All the way from the Philippines. I know at this point of recording, it's like past 1. It's like past 1 a.m. there. It means a lot to me for me to be able to connect with, my people from my motherland, So this really means a lot. So everyone, this is Soul Supremacy, where we talked about all things unapologetic, all things passionate and in pursuit of, and we made it to another episode again. We finished it. We made it to the end. And thank you guys. We'll see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Bye. Thank you, kapatid. This podcast show is a product of Studio Penguino. For more information about advertising, please visit www.adrianpenguino.com.